Riky and I'm Canadian. I garden in the Zone 6A in Nova Scotia, Canada. And I'm going to start this new YouTube channel, doing some garden videos, maybe tell you about my life as a military spouse. And I want to start in the garden and do a video. Do a video tour. Before we get to this garden bed, I actually want to show you my very first garden bed. And it was this one right here. Somebody gave me a bunch of irises when we bought this house in 2020. And I didn't know really what they were. But, you know, I jumped on YouTube and I tried to figure out what plants were all about. And thus started my gardening journey. I had, I think, 12 irises altogether, so I planted them evenly in front of this wall. And I didn't know that they flowered. I didn't know anything. I still feel like I don't know anything about gardening, to be honest. So all I did really was put them in the ground and walk away. I didn't even know to water them in, and they did fine, really, without me. Now, over the years, I separated them because they were different colors. I've got blue, pink, yellow, a brownish yellow, a bright yellow. Anyways, I didn't like that. So I really quickly came to discover that I didn't like yellow at all, and I separated them all, and then I made blue, pink, blue, pink. So I'm hoping this year is going to be all blue, pink. Also, one year I put in tulips, and I think that was in 2022, and I did like the whole row of this wall in tulips, and now they're very sparse. Not very many come up every year anymore, but that's okay. Same with the hyacinths. And then these are hens and chicks. Somebody gave me those as well, and I don't really like them, but they're living, they're doing well. There's a few, I'll show you, like this one in here. Look how big he is. He's doing pretty good. Oh, I want to show you, this is there's something wrong with these irises. Look at, like they've got like a disease or something. I don't know why they're all bent funny like that, but they got balloon stalks on them. Not this. This is an allium getting ready to come in. But look, isn't that weird? What is that? Do you know what it is? Can you tell me? Because it's my first experience with weird irises. This is my front yard, obviously, and that's a great big old Norway maple. It has yellow leaves in the fall.
Oh, it's turning yellow, but then it looks like it's going to turn red. Look at it starting.
And it's not the prettiest. Actually, a Norway maple around Nova Scotia is an invasive maple, so it's not the pretty kind that turn orange or bright red. When we bought this house in, like I said, 2020, we didn't have any garden beds here at all. So I put in this one. I think I put this one in 2023. But they are looking pretty good, I'd say. In the middle of this is a Holy Grail hibiscus. It's always the last to come up in the spring, and it blooms really late, all the way until September. It's starting. It's starting. And what will happen is these stalks will get really loose, and then I'll pull them out. And this whole area, this entire dark circle, will be taken over by this bush. And it gets pretty big. It gets as tall as me, and I'm 5'8". This walkway we put in because when we bought the house, there was a really old, rotten staircase there. So my husband decided to build this one, and we had a walkway path here, and we just repurposed that walkway, and we put it right there. Actually, my husband and I did a lot of renovations at this place, and I want to show you about that in another video at a later date. We bought this house in February of 2020 when my husband was posted here, and we think that this is probably our last year in this house. Now, all this mess you see here is from this big, beautiful maple. He makes a mess a couple of times a year, actually, with this and with his helicopters. And then his helicopters will land in my rocks and seed itself all over the place. And then I've got little baby maple trees growing everywhere. I've got a couple of pots that are cement, and they're starting to rot out. That's why you can see this here. That's all of the stuff that broke off my pot. So my husband decided that he was going to re-cement them, and then I think we might spray them a different color. I'm thinking about spraying them black. Let me show you what the other ones do look like. Oh no! Nothing like doing a garden tour and there's raccoon poop everywhere. That's nasty. Okay, let's avoid that. These are the pots that I'm talking about. I've got 3 of them. And look at, they're all starting to do that. I think this is their 3rd year sitting here, and they've survived hurricanes. Anyways, they kind of seem too small now that I see them on film. We'll see. The rocks I'm quite pleased with because we had a bunch of shrubs that were sitting against this wall when we first moved in. And we ripped them all out because we wanted to build the new staircase and we didn't want to have any roots going into the foundation. But the rocks, I have to blow out with the blower quite a bit, and we do get a few weeds, as you can see. So actually, I feel like this is the first year that I've had as many weeds as I've had since 2020. This wheelbarrow is full of the soil that came out of the pots that we're repairing. And so I'm just going to replenish it and put it back in. And then I'm going to put in some Super Tunia bubblegums. This is a row of lilacs that we put in. I want to call them bloomerangs by Proven Winners, and they bloom twice, which is fantastic. This big mess between us and the neighbors, there used to be a bunch of trees here, but they were touching all these wires that go to our house, and we had to have them all cut down. This is kind of wild, and we wanted it to be hidden by an eventual lilac hedge. The grass is a challenge. There's a lot of different weedy grasses in here and a lot of dandelions, but we have a big grub issue. So grubs will eat the roots, and the crows, all the birds, they hear the grubs and they come and eat them. So that doesn't help either. This garden bed was one of my very first as well. I really wanted to have a bunch of bushy hydrangeas here, so I put in Invincible Spirit 2 hydrangeas by Proven Winners. I couldn't figure out why every year they weren't blooming because I was a new gardener. I didn't really understand anything. And I wasn't really paying attention to them. I did the same thing. I put them in the ground and walked away, not knowing to water them in and all that stuff. So I thought they were struggling. And then we got video cameras and I realized it wasn't that I planted them wrong. It was because I had deer eating them. So there was 3 of them here, and they were centered amongst this kidney bean shaped bed. And this year I decided to tear them out because I can't control the deer. Obviously we don't have a fence. So they're sitting in my backyard now. I think in 2023 I bought 400 tulips. Obviously not all 400 right here, but these ones I covered over with like a chicken wire. So I've noticed these came back really well this year, whereas in the backyard I didn't use chicken wire and they didn't come back very well. So I don't know if it's because the squirrels are eating them or whatnot, but this bed has some gladiolas in it this year. I just planted those at the beginning of March. It was actually, let me get in here. You can see they're just starting. And alliums are just starting. And the tulips are almost done, as are the daffs. Wow, I have a new appreciation for watching garden videos because you can't control what your neighbors do, so I'm really sorry if you can hear that noise. Oh, look, my little egg. Oh, someone's come to life. I also planted some cannas in here. So I put cannas in place of where the hydrangeas were. And I think I might also come along and put a Super Tunia in here, or maybe 3. I don't know. We'll see. Let's go in the back. Well, I opened up the garage so you can see these pots that we tried to save with cement, which I think we should just go buy new ones. Oh, don't mind my messy garage. This is my husband's project, his BMW that he's working on. He's creating a YouTube channel too. And he's trying to show like how to fix up an old BMW. Anyways, so these are my pots, and I don't know. I think they're just garbage. Maybe once, I get some spray paint on them, if I do them black or just leave them, I can just put the ugly side facing the wall. The Super Tunia is going to really overtake the pot anyway. And, this is the first year in 5 years that I have had weeds in my rocks here. I can't believe how many have snuck in here. What a mess. So I'm going to have to probably dig all that out. Oh, and this lupin. So I started these lupins from seed. Lupins are, I don't know if they're invasive in Nova Scotia, but they're certainly everywhere. They're ditch plants. They're all over the sides of the roads. They seem to do really well in full sun, so I kind of took that as an indication to put some here. And oh my goodness, this is its second year of life just from seed. I had some hyacinths underplanted here and some tulips. These tulips come back year after year, no problem. So actually, you know what? Last year they were a little dwindly. This year they look pretty good. And then in here I've got 3 macrophylla hydrangeas. And these stalks were doing great until sometime in March, because I noticed I was looking at the buds and I was thinking, oh my goodness, thank goodness I'm going to have such a big bushy plant, or 3 bushy plants. And then all of a sudden they died because I think we got a snow and a frost. I don't know. So I don't even know if these are going to have flowers on them this year, but I'm going to hope for the best. This is, I think, I put seeds for a money plant, and I think this is a money plant. And then this is muscari. All this muscari my neighbor gave me, it's on its way out. But oh my gosh, it's so cute. I love it. When it first comes up, everything in this garden bed looks so ugly. Now everything's starting to fill out. I've got a lot of weeds I need to take care of right in here. I can't remember what that weed is called. And then this is a great big tall grass, a zebra grass. It's got the stripes on it. It is really, really pretty. And it gets really tall, taller than this hydrangea. Things are really filling in. And then the deer come and nibble on like everything. It's very, very annoying. I basically paid $120 for hydrangeas out front to get eaten by deer. I was thinking I should probably split some of this grass and put it elsewhere, but I don't know. Now this hydrangea, I was cutting down to the ground every year because the person who gave this to me, it was just roots. And as a new gardener, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be nothing. I have no idea. So I put it in the ground. A stump was here, actually, a maple tree stump, and there was no garden bed here at all. And when I put in the roots here, I thought, good luck. Good luck to you. Wish you the best. Okay, so my plan is this heuchera is going to go right here in the center where that big root is. And then the lilies are going to go trioed behind. And look at all the roots. Like, who said digging a hole was easy? I've got 2 more holes to dig. There better not be any more fucking roots in my way. Okay, I got it done. And I just checked with Siri. She said it feels like minus 37. That's a little much. Shouldn't have did this today. Those are blueberries, protected from the birds. Heuchera, lilies, Japanese bloodgrass, hydrangea, zebra grass, blue fescue. Oh my word. That's her. Every year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and every fall I kept cutting it down to the ground. Now this past fall I got really sick. I have some sort of autoimmune issue going on, and I was in bed for 2 months straight. So I didn't come out to the garden to do any cleanup. I left everything. And this spring I noticed that the sticks started having buds on them. Oh my God, I've been cutting this thing down to the ground every year and it comes back as a new fresh plant, but I didn't need to do that. I could have just left it and it will put on even more growth from, old wood. This is not just a normal grass, this is a Japanese blood grass. And I just stuck in some alyssum recently and some, whatever that is, I forget. So that's another Japanese blood grass. And these heucheras are in full sun all summer. And they do great. And little did I know I was supposed to plant them in the shade. I don't know. These are lilies. And they're currently getting eaten by some red beetle. I just keep coming out and picking them off. And then over there, I've got strawberries. The deer came and munched those down pretty good. So I don't know if you can tell, but that stick is actually holding a fishing line on it. And so is that one, and so forth. So the fishing line is hopefully to deter the deer, but I have video cameras throughout the property. If you can see it right there. And it picks up the deer coming in through my garden. Actually, he'll come in usually from over at the neighbor's place. They'll There's usually like 6 of them. And they'll eat their way through this way and over there and then out through the opening behind the pole. So what I have been doing is I put out a speaker every night with a podcast on so they think somebody is sitting on my deck having a chat. And since I've been doing that, the deer don't come anymore. Now, I just popped in a wave petunia, and again, new gardener. I don't remember what this is. It's got a beautiful purple little flower on it. And these daffs will be gone, so the petunias I'm hoping will take over. Now this, that's not grass. That's actually allium seeds. And I had kept a bunch of allium seeds over the winter. And I thought to myself in spring I was going to give them to one of my aunties. And I forgot to bring them to her. She lives another province away. So I was like, well, I don't want them to go to waste. So at the beginning of March, when there was still snow on the ground, I came out and I threw a whole bunch of allium seeds everywhere. And they're all coming up like that. So nothing will come about of them for another few years. I probably won't even be here to see their life. But eventually they'll turn into something. So I'm just going to leave them. This is a blueberry bush. Oh, I kind of skipped over, didn't I? Those are daylilies and an iris, which I have no idea how that got there. And that is a peony bush. And below that is a great big weed. These are hot red pokers. And they're beautiful and they get pretty bushy. And that is another blueberry bush. And I think this here, I think that's a weed. And that is another macrophylla hydrangea in full sun. It's supposed to be a more shady area, I guess. These are foxgloves, and it's seeded itself all over the place. So I know these aren't weeds. They are foxglove bibes. All of this is an aster, and it's quite beautiful. I didn't even remember planting it there. And these are daylilies again. They're all over the place. Check this out. I planted this last year. It's a salvia, which I thought was an annual, and I forgot the tag of the ground. And this is where it was, and it's all coming back. Look, more allium. Huh. This lovely stick with leaves on top here is a sumac. It came into the garden somehow, probably by a bird. I don't know. And it more than tripled its size in one season. I couldn't believe it. In the fall, the leaves are fiery red and it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, this past fall, it did drop all of its branches, which I thought was really weird. And I said, oh, well, it's like everything else. I just left it because I got sick. So let's see what happens to it in the spring. And this is what's happening to it. It is almost as tall as me. So it's got to be at least 5'2". Like I said, I'm 5'8". And it is doing okay. Like I don't understand. So it can live there. Is there a bug in there? No. I might stake it because it's got a little bit of a lean to it, doesn't it? This lavender, this is actually 2 plants. It's 2 or 3 of these. And I had them spread all over the garden, and because I didn't understand how lavender worked. And now that I see them as a bush, I think I wish that one was a little closer. Maybe I'll get one to fill in the middle here. Or maybe I'll just put a petunia there, or a wave petunia or something. I do have strawberries popping up all over the place. I've got a whole drift of gladiolas in here. This summer is going to be glorious. And then I've been planting seeds all over the place, and then I forget what I plant. But I put these markers down. I put these down as markers. So in here, I've got, what is that? Lupins. Yes. Look how little and how adorable they start out. So my idea is I would have a drift of daylilies, and then behind it, a great big drift of lupins. And then behind that, there's a Russian sage. And then a peony, which was just a stick. I think I broke them off of my original peony, and they seem to be coming back okay over here. Then I have this rose. This rose was here when we first moved in. It was at the front of the house. And I just, oh, look at the mosquitoes. You little buggers. I'm going to be eaten alive. Anyway, the rose was here, and it's gorgeous. There'll be pictures galore. And then these are hens and chicks. And then you can see those holes there. I planted seeds. I've got coneflowers and I think zinnias. Isn't that awful? I just don't remember. This is a Japanese willow. And oh, it's just starting to leaf out. It's going to be pink, white, and green. It is glorious. It's my husband's favorite. He absolutely had to buy it. And in here, that big bush of hydrangea over there, the beginning one, the first one that somebody had given to me, I threw some more of its roots away because, like I said, I was new. I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. And I threw them away right here. And lo and behold, a hydrangea bush grew. And it does wonderfully every year. And this area is hot. It's sunny. It's very dry. And it's very, very sandy. So yeah, it's just fine. Got some alliums in here. And here, this is all mint. And it took 5 years for it to get this bad. I know everyone says mint is invasive and to put it in a pot. Well, I had it in a pot and I didn't know it was perennial and I threw it away back here. And it came back the next year and I was like, oh, whoops. So now it comes back more and more every year. As a matter of fact, it was encroaching on my hydrangeas, so I ripped a bunch of it out and I moved it elsewhere. But I don't know, is like that bad 5 years? I'm getting eaten. I'm going crazy. Is like 5 years for it to take over that much? I don't know. We'll see. In this area, we had 2 other trees just like this, but they were dead. And we didn't want them coming down on one of our hurricanes, so we tore them out. And we put in the shed. And all the wood that was sitting here for the longest time, after we got it removed, unearthed a bunch of daylilies. So I just planted them here beside the shed after we got it all built. None of this was here. This whole property was completely empty. Actually, it was really shaded when we first moved in. There was 3 maple trees right here. And those trees right there, they all belong to my neighbor. If it were up to me, I would chop them down and I would put in cherry blossom trees, but it's not up to me, so I don't have a say. So all this fence is brand new to this year. We just put it in. I got a fence video up and I'm going to start like working on like a pathway here to go to the back of the shed. This is my messy area back here. I had that in my garden bed. I don't recommend ever putting that in a garden bed. What a stupid idea that was. This is my backyard waste space. So here's another area where I put the mint. Because of these gaps in the fence, I was kind of hoping that if it got bushy, it would hide those gaps. And then this is chives. And my neighbor gave me this, I think it's called euonymus. Tulips that never came up this year. More daylilies, more lupins, more lilac. Those are zinnias that are coming in. Another piece of peony that broke off that I just stuck here to say, let's see what happens. Irises, as you can see, I got a lot of repeat stuff going on. This is a hardy geranium. It blooms pink. It's so cute. There's that creeping Jenny. I don't know how it got over here. Like I said, I grew it on my deck last summer. And there's pieces of it all over the garden now. That is a burning bush. This, I never remember what it is. Thank goodness there's a tag here. Sea thrift. And it blooms the most beautiful little pink flowers. Here's a hydrangea. The deer ate this one last year. I think this is panicle hydrangea. And look, this is a sumac. Another sumac that had grown in. I'm going to have to cut this one down because I don't want it taking away from the roots of my hydrangea here. I've got some phlox coming in there. And what else is back here? More repeat stuff. And more lupins. And more lilacs. And these are, oh! Is it exciting when you see like a new bloom stalk on a plant? I can't wait to see these bloom. These are so pretty. I think these are called Hungarian iris. I don't know. Now this is a project in the works. I just wrapped this chicken wire around here and put morning glory seeds in, and I'm hoping that it's going to climb up pretty high up there. We'll see. My neighbor just gave me some strawberries. Now this is a great big old mess. These trees drop these needles and they make a mess, and the grass doesn't grow here, so I thought, well, I'll just dig it out and make it kind of look like a garden bed, but every year it gets away on me. And I don't like coming under here because the spiders always fall on me. So actually our wood pile was where in between everywhere, all the way up to, well, let's see. It was covering this rhubarb because that rhubarb never used, well, it tried to come in, but it was covered by wood. So if you've got any ideas, I really don't know what to do with this. It's such an eyesore. I really hate it. And I don't want to put the black mulch there because the needles are going to overtake it anyway. So that doesn't make any sense. And then let's go back here again. More like lupins everywhere. I'm whacking the mosquitoes off of me. So this is from all my pots last year. I still have to clean all that up. So I might come in here with some landscape fabric, and well, maybe I'll weed whack that first. Put the landscape fabric down and try to smother out all the grass and the weeds here. And then I've got another deterrent here. You probably can't see it, but I put fishing line up. Here, fishing line to deter the deer from coming in here. I don't know if that'll work or not. I did move some rhubarb back here. Hopefully I'll get some big leaves. We will see. I have yew trees that were totally eaten down to sticks by deer. And a bunch of weeds. I think this is kind of some kind of ground cover that I put in here, but I don't remember what it is. And more lupins. This poor thing is a rhododendron that was really sick. It came from the neighbor, and I thought, well, we'll try it here. My other neighbor has one that's in the shade, and it does really well. It's got some blooms on it, so we'll see. Might need some chelated iron. This yew, if you can see it, got overtaken by deer as well, so that's why they're over here. And you can see I've got some ferns popping up in here, and these cute little whatever forget-me-nots. I love them. I wish they were everywhere, but I might come in and weed this bed and try and make it look nice. I don't know. The needles aren't so bad in here because, well, it's not producing. This tree, half of it got knocked down by a hurricane one year. Nothing remarkable here. And then this was a peony bed that was in here when we first moved in. And yeah, the ants go all over the peony bushes, but they don't go anywhere on my deck, which is amazing. I was a little worried about that because I didn't know how that worked. But these fill in pretty well. And below them, I'm just going to put in, I already did. I put in petunias. And look at that. That's a strawberry. Where'd that come from? Anyway, petunias. There's the creeping Jenny. That was in this basket last year. I didn't know creeping Jenny came back like that. So, and how it got all around the rest of my yard, I have no idea. So in these two baskets, I put Diachondra Silver Falls and just some geraniums. Last year I had a bunch of stuff in there that geraniums was something else, and I didn't think it looked very good. Oh, lemon coral sedum. This lined the entire bed last year. It looked amazing. I loved it. And I had no idea it would come back. And it's coming back. Well, in this spot. None of the rest because I ripped it all out in the spring thinking it's not coming back. But it came back. So more petunias and phlox. These beautiful, look, just the cutest little things. I love these. I'll let it stay there. And I also put in, a lot of, I put in gladiolas here. A lot of gladiolas. And I always have a hanging basket. Now this hanging basket has a wave petunia in it. But I just found a bunch of super petunias at a local nursery here that had, well, a great price, really. They were $5.95 for a super petunia. So I went a little crazy and I bought a lot. 3 of them are for the pots out front, 2 for the flower bed out front. And this oxalis, well, I just couldn't resist. And it's Proven Winners oxalis. I really have an affinity for Proven Winners plants. They just seem to really do really well. I'm going to put these 2 cannas, they don't look very good right now, but I'm going to put them out front, flanking the front steps. And I'm going to underplant with this alyssum. And then my husband spotted this is this the calibrachoa? Yep, it is. He spotted this one. This is my mess. Been out here farting around, planting, digging. Oh, sweet potato vines, can't get enough of those either. And then this year I bought this little fern. I don't know how this works. So that's it. That is my garden. Should I address this fire pit? It's a work in progress. Well, that's it. That's my very first garden tour ever, and my introduction to YouTube actually. Let's go in. And I want to just tell you a couple more things. If you stuck around to watch me ramble on at the end of this video, you are my kind of person. I really appreciate it. I want my new channel to be a vlog type style. And being a military spouse, that means we move around a lot. This is the last year in our house. I really don't know how this YouTube channel is going to go. But I hope that you come back every single week and see how the garden is making out and what I'm up to. I'm hoping that you can bear with me while I'm learning how to edit and film and get into the groove of this, you know? So, how do they say? Or what do they say? Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.